Well, good morning, refugees. You can probably tell I'm in my McLean's motorcycle sweatshirt and my jumpsuit. So that can mean nothing other than we're going to do some more work, and hopefully today we're going to get everything we need to be done. My buddy Frank over here, he seems to be experiencing a lot of good luck right now. He finally got his shower fixed,
Yep.
and we're all thankful for that.
We're all thankful for that.
And now he realized that his stairs are wet, and it's not because of the shower.
No.
So he's looking up there to see what's going on. So he's working on that. One thing good about this place is you can work on your stuff. Nobody ever says anything. We pull the transmission. We do everything here. They never say a word. But what I'm going to do today is I've got a fuel filter I've got to service. I got to change. And it's a really tough one to get to. It's in between the frame and the block, and you got to sneak up there. But I'm going to show you a little trick to that. And then I need to adjust the brakes all the way around. This does have self-adjusters, but the problem is when you're towing, you don't spend a lot of time going backwards. And that's how they adjust, is when you go backwards and you hit your brakes, they adjust. So I usually go through, I adjust them once a year. Pretty simple process, but that needs to be done. Also, I'm going to lubricate the front end. Now, I have to apologize. I know on the rear main seal leak on that 8.3, the actual video coverage of the job was not sufficient. But it was one of those situations where it was a heavy job. We were trying to get it out. It was raining. We had a lot of problems. And I just wanted to get it done. And if I was going to try to do all this filming and everything, it would have been next to impossible to get it. I'd still be underneath there. We got that done. If anybody has any questions on that, you can write me and I'll fill you in on how I did it. It's pretty basic. That transmission just hangs off the back of that motor. There's no bracketry or anything that holds it in. It's just the bell housing bolts and the transmission bolts, and that thing comes out. Other than just be a big, heavy, nasty, gnarly thing to move around, it's not really all that super bad. But when you're an old guy like me, and I've gone from 225 pounds down to 155, I just don't have the strength I used to have. Let me take you underneath over here, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I know you guys have seen this handy little tool here before. This time I've got a really long extension on it because, oh, thanks, Frank. My backup man here. That's the filter right there. So I'm going to try to get that out. As you can see, it's pretty tight quarters. But with that tool, I can usually go up there and fish it right out. I'm going to use that. It's going to go on the end right there, and I'm going to spin it, get it loose. Once I get it loose, then I'm going to fill my other filter full of fluid. Then I'll come back under here and I'll pull that out, and we'll go from there. So I'm not going to be able to film this because I know Darla's not going to be able to fit under here with me. You're just going to kind of see it here, and then you're going to see it done. It's just like changing an oil filter. Just in a, kind of a ridiculous spot here. There we go. There it is. It's in there, secured, ready to fire the motor. After you take the old filter off, you're going to need to fill the new filter with diesel fuel. So I always carry this little 1 gallon, and I fill the filter all the way up to the top. Then what I do is I dip my finger in it, and I put some of that oil around the outside. Now sometimes, this is the used filter I wanted to show you. We just filled the new one and I put it on. The thing is sometimes it'll stall, which ours did, and you'll have to crank a little more. The better filled you get this, if you get this all the way to the top and you don't spill it going in, then it'll fire right up and it won't die. I did have a guy one time when we first bought this thing, I had this thing serviced, and it was by a shop that was next to our shop, and I hear this thing cranking and cranking and cranking and cranking and cranking. And I run outside and go, what is going on? He goes, oh, I'm just trying to get change the fuel filters. I said, you fill them with fuel, right? He said, you have to do that? Well, this is a mechanic. So, words of advice, folks. 50 years ago, you could find good mechanics everywhere. Today, it's really, really tough to find people that know how to work on things. They're mostly young guys that have gone to school. When they're actually approached with a real problem, something that's difficult to do, you can't find them. They struggle with it. Here's the next project. We're going to do the front end. And here's the little gem you need right here. Buy all this stuff at Walmart. When I had the motorcycle shop, there was things I had to grease, but I had a little tiny grease gun. But this thing requires quite a bit more grease. And I put this cool little deal on there because you can get them on the Zerks. and it will lock on instead of trying to screw those things on and then they're always popping off. I already adjusted the rear brakes, and I didn't take you guys down there because it's real hard to get down there, but I'm going to show you how to do it on the front. This right here, this is the adjuster for the front brakes. And the back one looks the same. It's basically the same thing. This is a 12.7/16. I'm going to ratchet this thing down tight. And that should have been around a half a turn. These are really loose steps, so that's almost a quarter. That's a quarter. And I go a little bit further, and that's it. The back, I tighten them pretty good. I leave at the most a quarter of a turn off because with this thing, if you had the back tight, when you stop, it doesn't make the front all jerky when you go to take off. So that's basically all there is to adjusting the brakes on these. If you need to do more than that, then I don't know what to tell you, but on these older RVs, and just remember, this is an older RV. I haven't done a lot of mechanical work on the new ones, and part of the reason why I haven't done it is because when you go to do it, they're more of a pain than these things. These are pretty basic to do. So there we have that. That should give you a good idea on that. This right in here is your kingpin, and this is what the spindle and everything rides on. So you got to keep that thing really lubricated. The fitting is up here, and there's a fitting down here on the bottom. So what you want to do is, I got the weight off the front end. I have the whole motorhome lifted, and that makes it easier to pump grease into that. And just pump, and I can see it already starting to come out right here, a little spot. That took a lot of grease. But it's been a while since I greased this thing. Every time we decided we were going to stop and take a break, we got called and said, hey, we need you here. Hey, we need you there. So that's kind of made it a little bit tough on us this year. Okay, now I'm going to do this bottom one, same way, low on grease. If you get the pressure off the kingpin, it lets it get really greased good. If the pressure's on it, it won't get to everything. I can see the grease coming out right now. That's greasing up real good. All right. Now, steering arm here. And you'll be surprised how much tighter your front end is and how much better these things drive with grease in them. When they're dry, they don't work near as well. Okay, let's see, there's a fitting right here on the brake. And then there's a fitting up here. Now some of this newer stuff doesn't have this. They don't use zerk fittings. All the bushings and everything are designed to run with what they have in them, or what they're made of. Every time you see grease shooting out, you know you got it. Here's one right here. That should be good on that. And then one more right here. And this side is complete. Boy, these were dry. And I could tell when I was driving. No doubt about it. Another thing I don't like is powered grease guns. The reason why I say that is a friend of mine's motorhome. I can tell they've been greasing it with a power gun because all these are all tore. You just want to put enough in there so that it's packed full of grease. You don't want to blow it up. Clean things up a little bit before we get started. We're going to do the brake real quick here once again. Going to tighten it up. And then a quarter, a little less than a quarter. There we go. That makes such a much better drive when your brakes are adjusted real good. Everything makes a difference. You know, when you're driving something and you're used to driving a car or a pickup truck or something, and you get one of these things, as it is, it's intimidating. When it's not functioning right, it really sucks. And this can make a big difference. Just this little stuff. Grease. Had a really neat guy. We met it through the escapees. We were parked next to each other, and we were talking about, you know, things wandering all around and all that kind of stuff. Out of his motorhome, he had a hard time keeping it straight. We got to talking. I told him about the quiet hitch for the tow package, and then I started talking to him about lubing the front end. And he said that he had taken it into a shop and they had serviced it and done the front end and everything. And I went underneath there and I said, really? And he said, yeah. I said, well, I said, I wouldn't take it to that shop again. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, well, everything's dry. I said, they didn't shoot any grease in anywhere. We got underneath his rig and I showed him how to grease it all up. We ended up getting in touch with each other later. And he said, man, what a difference it was driving down the road. Just totally changes the rig. The stuff that you can do yourself and save yourself thousands of dollars. I can't believe how much money these places get. Now I know that when I had my motorcycle shop, we did the 10,000 mile service, probably for about the best price of anybody in town. But the deal was, if they would start with me doing the 10,000 mile service, then when the more difficult things come, like pulling the front end off to pack the neck bearings and all that, it would be the same price. And what ended up happening is we had a pretty good following. And it was mainly because when it came time to do the service, I did everything. That's what it takes to lubricate it. Would it take 10 minutes, 15 minutes? See, I like these little boxes, especially greasy stuff. We're done. Hopefully you guys are tired of all this service work and mechanical work, because I'll tell you what, I am. So we're gonna, hopefully this is the last video for a while as far as doing service. So thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, and hit the bell so you know when we're doing special things. Thanks for watching. Bye, Kate. Say bye.